Hey, welcome back to my channel, Endless Pages. I'm Liv and welcome to today's video, which is a romance reading vlog. Hello, welcome to this romance reading vlog. I can't believe I'm making this. I, in the past, have said how much I dislike contemporary romance and how much I just don't read it. But because of my sour attitude, I have for all these years been missing out on a whole genre just because I've read a couple of romance books that I don't like. So I've just shut off this whole genre, but in recent times, with a little bit of a better attitude and more of an open mind, I have slowly started to read more contemporary romances and realized that there are contemporary romances out there for me. So there are a couple of contemporary romance books that have helped me realize that there are contemporary romance books that I like and I can kick my feet out and enjoy. So some examples. Also, when I give you examples, if you have other books that you think I might like that are like this series, please do recommend them to me. So I read the Brown Sisters trilogy by Talia Hibbert, and I absolutely ate those up. I now realize I think I like the fake dating trope as well thanks to that series. So those three books were fantastic and I loved all the male love interest in that series, and the character growth. 10 out of 10. I read Blackout, which is by a bunch of a shit ton of authors. It's like a short story collection set in New York, in a heat wave and a blackout. Adorable. I really liked that. And then I also liked that because it showed so many different types of love, which was nice, and almost types of romantic relationships. And then the other book I read more recently was Role Playing by Kathy Yardley, which I loved the relationship in that book. So those books have made me realize that I need to dip my toe in the waters more and try more romance books. That's the purpose of this vlog. So I'm going to try to find some more contemporary romances that I love. So I'm hoping maybe, I don't know how many books I'm going to read for this vlog. It depends on how long it goes for. I'm hoping for at least 3 in this vlog, and then depending on how that goes, we can potentially film more of these contemporary romance vlogs. Let's talk about what I'm going to read first. This was 100% a cover pick. I saw the cover and was like, that's beautiful. It really caught my attention. Just the colors. This is a stunning cover. This is First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. I saw this got returned at work. I work in a library. If you didn't know, I saw it got returned and I was like, why has this not got a reservation on it? Why is this going back on the shelf? I thought this would be really popular. It's a recent romance book and I've been seeing it a lot, so I thought I'd grab it while I had the chance. And then I read the blurb and I was like, okay, this could be for me. So I'll read you the blurb. So Aidan Valentine has a secret. He's fallen out of love with love, which as a host of Baltimore's romance hotline Heartstrings is a bit of a problem. When a young girl calls into the station asking for dating advice for her mother Lucy, the interview goes viral, thrusting Aidan and Heartstrings into the limelight. Lucy Stone thought she was doing just fine, but with all the Baltimore scrutinizing her love life, or lack thereof, she begins to question whether she's as happy as she thought. Maybe a little romance wouldn't be such a bad thing. Everyone wants Lucy to find her happy ending, even the handsome, temperamental man calling the shots. But as sparks start to fly behind the scenes, Lucy must make the final call between a radio-sponsored happily ever after or the man in the headphones next to her. This is a really unique sounding plot and that's got me excited to read this. I am still nervous to do this series. I don't want to spend the whole vlog bashing on a genre. I want to find romance books that I like. I want to find more contemporary romance that I like. So I'm hoping we'll have some good books in this vlog and I'm not just bashing on a genre. So we'll start with this one and we'll see how we go, and I will see you in the first update. Hello, it's time for the first update of First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. Let's take another moment to appreciate how gorgeous this cover is. I really vibe with it. Anyway, so I read about 54 pages so far, and very early initial thoughts are that this is cute and I'm vibing with it, and there's only been one line that I found cringy in 54 pages. So That's like one of the most important things that I will think about when I read these books is, do I find it cringy? Because I do find some romances cringy. I don't know why. Maybe it's just too cheesy for me sometimes, but this is not cheesy. This is so good so far. I'm like, I was grinning when I was reading this. This is really good, I think. I'm hoping. I mean, I've only read 54 pages, but we're getting good vibes from this book. So basically we've kind of gotten to know our main character, and we are learning it. We've learned a little bit about like her family, her immediate family, her job, her relationship status, her life setup, kind of parenting, her daughter, her ex. So yeah, we've kind of gotten to know her a little bit, and we've had the first call. So like I said in the blurb, when her daughter calls up the Valentine hotline, and at first she's really embarrassed. Like, her daughter has called like for relationship advice on her behalf. So at first it's a bit silly and embarrassing, but then it turns into this like beautiful and profound and moving dialogue. Like, I don't think I was expecting that out of a romance. Clearly, like, I'm very naive when it comes to knowing what's involved in romance books, because I haven't read very many. So yeah, and then they start to talk about, like, they have this really like beautiful, deep and meaningful about her life, and kind of that she's been in denial or just really good at pretending that she's not lonely, and that she's satisfied with her life, and that her daughter and her ex and all of that is fulfilling enough in her job. But she kind of comes to this realization, and kind of, I guess because of the I can't say that word, anonymity of it, she feels like more able to speak honestly and openly and admit that, like, yeah, actually I am lonely, and I've been really good at hiding it, really good pretending I'm not, really good at telling myself that I'm not, but it's exhausting, and I just hate the whole dating thing, and yeah, why should I have to try so hard? And deep down, I really am a romantic, and I want that magic spark. Like, is that too much to ask? So it was like, yeah, it was this really beautiful, moving and profound dialogue. I absolutely adored the first call. Like, I thought it was so moving, and I was just like, this is not what I was expecting going in. But the writing was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I loved that section so much. And what I love as well is that it's a little bit mixed media. So we have, let me see if I can find you an example. We have some like transcripts of the radio conversations between Lucy and Aiden. Aiden being the radio host that runs the Valentine like hour, and those are really cute. Yeah, and I really like Aiden, our male protagonist, love interest, I guess, I'm assuming. We've kind of gotten to know him a little bit. It's multiple POV as well, which I love. So we've gotten to know him as well, which is really good. I love when we get to know the man as well, not just the woman. And he is kind of in this spot in his life where I guess he's just kind of like stuck. I'm really unsatisfied with the job, like not finding the joy he used to it anymore. Like, no one takes it seriously, like, that calls into the line. And I feel like he's just really jaded, and really like he seems like almost like numb in his life. And I think he like has a little bit of depression. Like, he's just so flat, so stuck. And I can see how this could start to change that. Like, he was talking about like how he didn't want the conversation to end, like this is the best haul he's had in months. So that's kind of where I've ended off, and we are starting to see the implications of this late night radio interview start to happen. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see where that leads. But yeah, multiple POVs, mixed media, really profound writing. I think this is a recipe for a really good book, and I'm so excited that the first book I'm reading for this vlog that I'm enjoying, because I don't want to be like negative for the whole vlog and be like, I hate it all. So I think this is a good pick. I mean, it's really early days. I could be speaking way too soon, but that's like my initial thoughts on this book. I know it's not a lot, but I haven't read a lot of pages. But yeah, this is really cute. I love the concept. I think it's really cool and unique and fun. And I am going to hopefully read some more of this very soon so I can update you soon. Because I'm not filming this, I'm not reading this in one go. I'm currently reading like 5 books at once. So I'm such a mood reader. Hopefully I'll be in the mood. I want to pick this up and continue this. So hopefully I'll be able to read some more very soon. Hello, it's time for the second update of First Time Callers, and I am still quite enjoying this book. I'm up to chapter 18, so I read 212 pages. I'm sorry I didn't update sooner, I just didn't really feel like I had enough to say yet. But yeah, I am still really enjoying this book. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes because, yep, they help me speak halfway decently about books. So yes, I'm still quite enjoying this. One negative thing I will say, and I don't think it's a this book problem, I think it's just a beef that I have with all contemporary romances, is the way that people interact with each other, like just like conversationally and interaction wise in romance books is so unrealistic. Like it's like everyone forgets how normal people like interact with one another when they're writing contemporary romances. That's not a this book problem though. I think that's just how it is in the genre, and it just annoys me a little bit, but not too much to ruin the experience of reading this book for me. Just a note. But other than that, I only have positive things to say. I'm really enjoying the humor in this book. I don't know if I said that in the last update, but this book is genuinely making me laugh out loud quite often, so I'm really enjoying the humor. I'm also really loving our main character. She is such a likable main character, like so likable that I'm just so rooting for her because I love her as a character. The love interest, Aiden is also a really likable character as well, and he's kind of that trope that I think I like grumpy on the outside but like soft as a marshmallow, squishy, lovey-dovey on the inside. So I really like that combination of grumpy but like he's not really grumpy, he's sweet and caring, and yeah, I like that in the male love interest. I think that's really cute. Connected to the humor is the banter in this book. I'm loving their chemistry. Aiden and Lucy, I can't remember character names, Aiden and Lucy have such good chemistry already. Like they had good chemistry right from the get-go of this book. You could just tell the way that they talk to each other is so natural, so fun, beautiful and deep at the same time, but they can give it to each other as well, like banter wise. So I just love every conversation they have. I'm so excited every time that they start talking to one another in this book because it's really, really cute, and just the banter is so good. So Lucy has started going on a couple of dates so far, but I think Aiden is starting to realize that he is falling for her, and I think I've reached the point where Lucy might start to realize that too, but I definitely think it's been a like Aiden falling first kind of thing, which is cute. One thing I will say is there's a character that I'm not a huge fan of. So Lucy, her ex-husband, they're on really good terms. They're like best friends. They co-parent together, like really good relationship. I just feel like his character, I wouldn't describe it as controlling. I just feel like he oversteps in her life a little bit, and I don't know if it's because of the way that they've set up their life. Like they live across the street from each other. Like he's happily married, and also I don't know if he's bi. It doesn't say that he's bi, but it doesn't say that he's gay, so I don't know. He's with a man now, so I don't know. I don't want to assume, but yeah. So he's like happily married, right? But they live across the road from each other and they're very involved in each other's lives, and I feel like her ex just kind of oversteps a little bit and almost like speaks for her, which is kind of annoying me because like she is not someone that needs anyone to speak for her. She's a really confident, smart woman, and it's just annoying me that yeah, he just seems a little bit controlling, but not in a like toxic, like abusive way. He's just, I think he oversteps a lot, and that's beginning to annoy me a little bit. So we'll see if that gets worse once these two start to maybe like, you know, get a little bit more romantic. Like, he genuinely wants her to find someone, and he's sad that she hasn't been able to find someone. It's not a like jealousy thing. Like, he has been helping her with this whole joining the heartstrings program and trying to find love, so it's not that kind of controlling. Like, he doesn't want her to find someone, he wants her to find love. I just feel like he oversteps a little bit in her life. I don't know, but yeah, that's my thoughts so far. Super quick update, but yeah, I'm still really enjoying this. I think so far, I mean, I'm not even halfway through, am I? I think I'm just about halfway through. My initial thoughts are maybe a 4-star. I don't know, I could be speaking too early, but so far it's giving 4-star energy, which is a great start to this vlog and gives me hope for the rest of the books that I have planned to read. So, bloody adorable. The last scene I read was just like chef's kiss. Such a good freaking scene, and I fear that because there was alcohol involved that we're not going to get a scene like that again, and there might be some embarrassment, not regret, but like we might take a step back. So I'm just going to like enjoy that scene while I can and prepare for the consequences of that. But yeah, yeah, I'm really liking this. It's giving 4-star energy, so we will see if it continues that way. Hello, it is time for my wrap up of First Time Call Up by B.K. Burrison. I absolutely fucking adored this book. This is my kind of romance. I cannot believe how much I loved this book, how much it made me giggle and kick my feet, and it was just beautiful and moving and fun, and just I had the absolute best time reading this. I started to get a little bit nervous towards the end of this book because they were kind of in a good place, and I was like, there's a lot of book to go. I swear to God, if we have a 3rd act breakup or like a 3rd act breakup due to miscommunication, I'm gonna be so disappointed, because miscommunication in books is like maybe my biggest bookish pet peeve. Like, people's ability not to be able to communicate properly is something that really irks me in books. So I was very nervous, and it was like, I don't know if like she did it on purpose, but it looked like it was going to be that way. But then they just like were adults and just talked about their emotions like normal adults, and that made me love the book even more, because I was like, this is like going so well, let's not ruin this right at the end with miscommunication. But her characters actually knew how to act emotionally healthy and not just make assumptions, which happens so much in romance books, is those assumptions which drive me nuts. Like, the two characters are like flirting with each other, and then one of the characters will be like, what? No, they don't like me, they hate me. And it's like, no, obviously they like you. So I'm glad that there was none of that in this book. That's probably one of the reasons why I loved it so much. And these two, amazing male character. I loved the kind of hard exterior, grumpy, hard exterior, but a big, huge softie on the inside. And I just feel like the characters had a lot of depth to them. Aiden's character has some family trauma that he's dealing with throughout this book, and Lucy kind of has this barrier of protection up around her heart, I suppose, and she's kind of, as mothers tend to do, not that I'm a mother, but as mothers tend to do, put other people before themselves, and put other people's happiness before their own happiness. So they kind of, I love that the romance was not the only focus, but they had their own things going on that the relationship helped them work through and helped them, yeah, they helped each other. I forgot to mention in the last update there was also a who made you cry, like who hurt you, but who made you cry, and I was screaming because I love in my enemies to lovers romance the line like who hurt you. So I was thoroughly thrilled to read that line in this book, just a contemporary romance version of who hurt you. Yeah, I cannot tell you how much I adored this book. I have given this book 5 stars because I'm like, that's what it deserves. I had the best time. I'm in love with Aiden. I just loved it. I loved the humor. I loved the romance. I loved the personal growth and development, especially from Aiden's character. I really, really enjoyed that, especially from, I guess, the male perspective of having a healthy relationship with your emotions and dealing with your emotions in a healthy way, and being vulnerable. I loved the little snippets of the radio interview. I loved their chemistry. I loved their banter. It was really fucking adorable, and the one issue I had with it, with her ex-husband being like very much speaking for her, kind of went away. So that was my only really beef with this book, is what I said in the last update. Like, I feel like her ex-husband kind of speaks for her, but that really went away. And I genuinely, I cried at the end of this book because I was just so happy for them. So I did shed a few tears at the end of this book. So clearly I was very emotionally moved by it. Yeah, so this is a 5-star fucking read. It turns out I was reading this at the same time as one of my colleagues, because we sometimes talk about what we're reading when it's quiet on the desk at work. And because we both work at a library, we're both readers, and I know she reads a lot of romance and I don't typically, and she knows that. So I was like so excited to tell her that I was reading a romance, so she'd be proud of me. And she was like, no way, I'm reading it too. So we were reading this at the same time. She read it a lot quicker than me, because it's not that hard to read quicker than me. And so because we were talking about it at work and how much we both loved it, we were looking up what else B.K. Borison has written, because we were like, we'd totally check out her other works. There's another series that she has that doesn't really look like my kind of romance, but then I discovered this is getting a fucking sequel. Not with Aiden and Lucy. I forgot her name for a second there. Not with Aiden and Lucy, sadly, but a side character in this book, who is Aiden's friend and colleague, and he's like the weatherman at the radio station. So I think February next year a sequel of this book is coming out with his romance, and it looks like it's an enemies to lovers kind of romance. So I'm so excited for book 2. I'm so excited to get to know the side character a little bit more, and hopefully get some snippets of Aiden and Lucy, seeing how they're going with their life. And yeah, I fucking adored this book. 5 stars. And I can't believe I'm saying that, but 5-star romance. Okay, that is it for First Time Caller. First book of this vlog done, which is very exciting. I don't know which book on my list that I will be reading next. I actually don't have anything prepared, so I will have to go and figure that out, but you guys will see straight away what I'm jumping into next. Time to move on to the next book in this vlog, which is One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I've read 2 of Taylor Jenkins Reid's books before, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and Daisy Jones and the Six, and I thoroughly enjoyed both of those books. So I thought this would be a good next one, because, you know, I've got history with Taylor Jenkins Reid. I believe this is one of her older ones though. I could be really wrong, but I feel like it's older than her other works. Let's see. Yeah, 2016. So this is an older book of hers. Basically, we have our main character, Emma, and Emma in her 20s meets the love of her life. They get married, travel the world together, and then on their first wedding anniversary, her husband, can I say that? Is that a spoiler? No. Yeah. Her husband is in a helicopter, and the helicopter vanishes and he is missing and never seen again. And then you skip a couple of years later, and our main character Emma reconnects with a childhood crush, and they get engaged. And then once they get engaged, the original love gives her a call and was like, I'm alive! The helicopter went down, but I'm still alive. So yeah, basically it says, who is her one true love? She knows she has to listen to her heart. She's just not sure what it's saying. I have started this, so I have read, not heaps, I've read 82 pages. So I've read basically, there's not really chapters, there's just kind of parts. So part 1 is Emma and Sam, who's the original husband that went missing, their story. And I don't think I'm liking this so far. I don't think I'm liking the writing style. I'm listening to the audio, which I think is helping me get through it a lot quicker than I would be if I was trying to read this one physically. I like the narrator. There's nothing wrong with the narrator. It's the writing. I don't think the writing is very good. But also, I'm also thinking like, this is her earlier work. Like, you know, maybe this was before she really found like, you know, her strength in writing historical fiction romances. But yeah, the writing in this seems really weak to me, and not great writing, like not that impressive. And so yeah, like I said, part 1 is Emma and Sam's story. So you start in Emma's childhood and work your way up to the day he goes missing, and just like a little bit after that, like the first couple of months after he goes missing. And I feel like we spend way too much time, like I feel like this book is so slow but moves way too quickly at the same time, which I know sounds crazy. We spend way too much time in her childhood on completely unnecessary details. I think what we spent a lot of the time talking about doesn't really add anything to the story and is unnecessary detail. Like it's way too detailed. It's like, I went to school and then this is what I was wearing to that party, and then this is what my friend was wearing, and then we went here, and then we went here, and then I had a shift at the bookstore, because her parents own a bookstore. And it was just like such absolutely unnecessary detail. But then it also feels rushed because we spend so much time on her childhood before Jessie that when we get to the Jessie storyline, I just feel like it wasn't enough to feel connected to him. It wasn't enough time spent with them as a couple to really like feel their love for one another, feel sad when Jessie goes missing, because you just don't have that connection with him. It just seems like very rushed. So it's like, oh yeah, here's the night we met, and then bang bang bang, we traveled the world together, and then he went missing. Like that's literally what it felt like. And that was 80 pages. So yeah, I just feel like the childhood, way too much detail, and then we rush through the actual love story, which is the important part. You're meant to get to know them as a couple, so when you realize that he calls and says, hey, I'm alive, you're meant to feel, I guess, torn like the character does. Like I expect to get to know both the men and their dynamics and their relationship, and I just feel like it just didn't go into enough depth with Emma and Jessie's relationship. So far I'm actually finding this quite disappointing. It's not cringy, at least, so I'll give it that. That's a win. That is always my fear going into these romance books, is I'm going to find them cringy. I should say I was going to read next the Spanish Love Deception, but I got 20 pages into that and was like, and we're not doing this. This is so cringy. So, but I was like, it's not worth putting into this vlog and introing it. So I'm not finding it cringy, which is at least one thing it's got going for it. So now I'm up to the second part of this book, Emma and Sam. So it's called Emma and Sam, or How to Put Yourself Back Together. So I'm going to assume that this whole chunk is about her relationship with Sam, which is just such like a stark difference between Emma and Jessie and Emma and Sam. Like I feel like I'm totally going to be rooting for Sam more because I'm going to spend more time with him. Like that's a significant chunk of the book. I don't know. And then there's one final part, which I guess she is like an epilogue, or she chooses who she chooses in that part, I suppose. So we'll see how I feel about this going forward. I definitely not hating enough to DNF. I'm just not liking the writing that much, and I feel like I still have potential to like the story of this book. I don't think it'll be too love triangle-y because it's like done in 2 parts and then it's like she'll decide, so I won't be getting that cringy like both of them vying for her attention, I don't think. So I don't know, this could pick up. I've only read 80 pages, so it's really early days. So we'll see how I feel in the next update. I definitely will probably update you before the end of this part because it's quite long. So yes, I'll update you when I've made more progress. finished One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and boy do I have mixed opinions to give you guys. I feel like I'm definitely going to give you mixed signals about this book. So I'm going to look down and look at my notes as always. So I kind of liked it, but kind of didn't like it. I feel like in my previous update I said I wasn't liking it, but I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I don't know how to feel about this book. My feelings definitely did come true when I said that I feel like I would like Sam, the second husband or fiance, second partner, let's just say, more than Jesse the first, because we spend time with him. And that is 100% true. We spend more time with Sam, we get to know him better, so I feel more connected and I feel myself rooting for him more. When we start to see the interactions with Jesse when he comes back from being lost and assumed dead, I don't know, I feel like their dynamic is so off. Like, they just kind of want to pretend that everything's all good, and Jesse clearly doesn't want to talk about like the shit that happened to him when he was literally like surviving out by himself on this island for like 2 years, and Emma gets so pushy about it. She's like, come on, talk about it, tell me what happened. And he's like, this traumatic experience that he's literally just got back from, like, it didn't happen years ago. He doesn't want to talk about it, clearly, and she's really pushy about that, so I didn't like that. And then when we get back, Emma kind of has to explain to Jesse or demonstrate to her that her life has changed and doesn't look like, you know, her life when they were together. She's older now, she's been through this trauma of grieving her husband, and she's very, very different to what Jesse remembers. And instead of being supportive of that, he's so weird about it. Like, he gets almost mad at her that her life has changed and she's moved on. And I understand that maybe he's coming from the perspective of like, I've been trapped out on this island for 2 years, the thought of you kept me going, and she's kind of in her own way moved on, but not really. Like, she spent so much time grieving him, and yeah, she's getting on with life, she's living again, and I feel like you should be happy for her that she's happy in her life. Like, would you want her to come back and be like an emotional mess? Like, I feel like you should be happy that your partner is happy. Yeah, so she's talking him through her accomplishments, and about how it's kind of everything she used to say that she didn't want to be, but she's matured. She was in her 20s then, she's in her 30s now, like she says in the book. And he's almost really condescending about how he talks about what are accomplishments, like the stuff that she's managed to accomplish despite losing the love of her life, despite going through this tremendous grief, of losing her husband and all that she's accomplished since. And he talks to her in such a condescending way about it, and I hated that. I'm such a Jesse hater. I don't like his character. Yeah, so for that whole kind of chapter or parts where we were spending the time getting to know Sam and then the time getting to see the dynamics when Jesse came back, I'm glad it wasn't like a love triangle. It was literally like, let's learn about Jesse, let's learn about Sam, let's see the dynamic of Sam and Emma let's see the dynamic of Emma and Jesse when he gets back. And it's not them like fighting over each other for her, which I did like, because I was worried that that's where it was going. I think I said that in the last update, and that's not where it went. So I'm glad that was the case. At some points I felt that I was so disengaged. Is that the right word? I was not engaged at all, let's just say, with the story. And then other parts where I was like, this is kind of beautiful. Like when she's talking about her grief, like that, the writing in that section when she's working through her grief is absolutely beautiful, and I found that writing really moving. I did find myself getting teary towards the end as well, which really shocked me. Maybe it was my hormones. I don't know. I was pretty hormonal when I was reading this book. So maybe we can play the hormones, but I genuinely quite liked how this book ended. I feel like that it wasn't a silly, like, love triangle rom-com-y kind of ending. It was actually kind of beautiful, and the way that she explored her dynamics and how her dynamics with Jesse had changed, and how her dynamics with Sam, like what that looks like now that Jesse's back. I thought it was quite beautifully done and well done, and it wasn't silly and rom-com-y. It was quite moving and beautiful, and I did genuinely enjoy that part of the book, which is why I feel like I have such mixed mixed opinions about this book. So I really don't know what to say about this book. I feel so like confused about how I feel about it. I've let it sit for a little bit too. Like I finished this a couple of days ago and I still don't quite know how I feel about it. I think it was kind of good. I think the start was weak maybe, and the middle was kind of weak, and the ending was strong maybe. Maybe the ending kind of pulled up the whole story for me, and a little bit about her grief and paired together that made it kind of better. I'm going to give it a 3.5. That rating could change. I'll let you know in editing if it does, but I think I'm happy with 3.5. I don't think it deserves a 3, and I don't think it deserves a 4. So I think that's a good happy medium. Like I've said a million times, the writing about the grief and the ending and that final kind of chunk of the book, I think was a genuinely good book. I just don't think Jesse was ever a character that anyone's ever gonna like or be on their side. I just don't think he's a well-written character. I don't like him at all. So I think that's maybe where some of my beef is, and the early chapters of, getting where you don't really get to know Jessie that well and waste so much time in her childhood on unnecessary details was really annoying for me. So yeah, I think at 3.5, I think I'm happy with that rating. So those are my very brief thoughts on One True Love. Sorry I didn't do another update in between. I tried to, and it was so rambly and just like talking about nothing. So I just thought I'd do one kind of update at the end when I finished it, and I thought that would be a little bit more succinct and not blabby and, you know, talking about nothing. So yeah, that was my thoughts on One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. 3.5 stars. So those were the 2 romance books that I'm reading this vlog. I know I said I wanted to read at least 3, but I'm happy with kind of the length of this video. So I think this is a happy medium, not too long, not too short. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Let me know in the comments below, based on what I said about the romance books that I read in this vlog, please, for the love of God, give me some romance recommendations. I definitely still don't think I know how to define or describe my kind of taste in romance books. I definitely think there is so much more out there for me to explore and figure out with what I like in romance and what I don't, what authors I do and don't like. So if you have any recommendations, anything similar maybe to first time callers or anything that you think I might like, please let me know in the comments below. I am desperate for recommendations. Also, let me know in the comments, is this something you'd like to see more of? Like I just said, I definitely need to do some more exploring, so there's definitely opportunities for me to make another version of this vlog. So let me know if you would like to see another romance reading vlog. Thank you again so much for watching. All my social links are in the description. Give this video a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you'd like to see more of my content. I will see you in whatever the hell I post next. Bye!